Hi, I'm John Levey with Peter Bodo for Tennis.com's Quick Hits. Pete, as we preview the men's 2009 Australian Open, what has the first few weeks of the calendar year, taught us about what's going on in the game?
Well, I think what the signal sent in the first couple of weeks of the season has been it's business as usual from last year. Now, change of the guard is probably too strong a word because, Federer's not going anywhere. Nadal, goodness knows, he's got a lot of great tennis ahead of him. But as we saw last year, there's a host of guys, 5 or 6 guys, who are going to be in contention for this title. So what's really happened here is I think we've begun kind of a bit of a new era in tennis.
And we've got a new #1 seed for the Australian Open, and that's Rafael Nadal. He's never won a slam on a hard court. He's won the French, obviously, numerous times, and he just won Wimbledon. Can he break through and finally win on a hard court?
Well, yeah, this guy can win on anything. There's no question about that. The funny thing is, why hasn't he done better at the Australian Open? The surface seems it really suits his game. It's got a nice big bounce. It's a fairly cushioned surface. He can run all day the way he likes to do, and the court takes spin very well too. I think he's had a little bit of bad luck in Australia. If you look back through the years, a number of champions really struggled. Pete Sampras struggled in Australia, even though his game was suited to it too. Can he win? Sure. Will he win? Big question.
Another big question is how Roger Federer will do this year. The new world's #2 had a pretty good run last year, got to the semis, but he's battling mono. He was kind of sick for the first half of the year. How do you think he's going to start out?
Well, it's interesting because that raises the issue. This whole battling mono issue. While I don't doubt that he was suffering the after effects of that illness, still Australia's not really a slam dunk. I don't think it's a slam dunk for Federer. Not on that surface anyway. So he's under a little bit of pressure this year. He's going back there, and everyone's saying, well, last year was an aberration. He had mono, this and that. But we're going to see what happens because the game has changed in the past 12 months. The biggest lesson of the past 12 months is the game changes really, really quickly.
You mentioned some of the great young players coming up. Of that group, who do you think can bag his first Grand Slam title in Australia?
Well, it's not going to shock the world, but, you got to put Andy Murray at the top of that list. But watch out for Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. Tsonga's going in there as a defending finalist. He played great in that final, too, so it wasn't like he had the nerves. He's shown subsequently in his performance in Master Series events and in Davis Cup that, he's really pretty impervious to pressure. The question is, can he stay healthy enough? And don't forget, you've got also Juan Martin Del Potro, who had a terrific end of the year last year, who's very, very good on this kind of a surface, who's a big, strong, physical guy. He's going to have really benefited from the rest he had since the Davis Cup and the year-end tournaments. So right now, you're looking at a pretty wide open field.
Got to figure the way he's playing, it's Andy Murray's time. Well, that wraps up Tennis.com's Quick Hits. I'm John Levey with Peter Bodo.